The MegaMets are back. This time it's G1 Climax 34. And for me, this tournament could be heads or tails. On the one hand, we've got some new meat in this year's tournament in the forms of Bolton Oleg, Callum Newman, Jake Lee, Yuya Uemura, and Konosuke Takeshita, to name a few. But on the other hand, we're also in uncharted territory as we will not see either Toru Yano, Tomohiro Ishii, or Hiroshi Tanahashi in this tournament for the first time since 2013 at the soonest and 2002 at the latest between the three of them.
Yeah.
Our participants are, in the A block, Shota Umino, new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Tetsuya Naito, Shingo Takagi, SANADA, KOPW Openweight Champion Great-O-Khan, Provisional Champion Great-O-Khan, Zack Sabre Jr., Strong Openweight Champ Gabe Kidd, Evil, Pro Wrestling Noah's Jake Lee, and Callum Newman, who won the A block qualifier tournament. Over in B block, it's El Phantasmo, Hirooki Goto, Yota Tsuji, Yuya Uemura, New Japan World Television Champion Jeff Cobb, Never Openweight Champion Henare, Global Champion David Finlay, Ren Narita, AW and DDT's Konosuke Takeshita, and Bolton Oleg, who won the B block qualifying tournament.
I see.
We kick it off on July 20th in Osaka. 10 matches on the card, order to be determined. Shota Umino against Callum Newman. Who have you got?
I choose Umino.
I'll also go shooter. Tetsuya Naito against Shingo Takagi. Oh, and just for the record, folks, 30 minutes are on the clock for every match this time around. Last two tournaments have been viewed with a bit of disappointment due to the fact that there was too much quantity and not enough quality of wrestler.
Figures.
Shingo versus Naito, two men who trained together in the Hamaguchi dojo. Who you got?
I choose Naito.
I'm going to go Shingo.
Fair.
Jake Lee versus SANADA. I'm going to go Jake Lee.
That might prove interesting.
Great-O-Khan versus Zack Sabre Jr.
This is going to be a tough one. I would pick Great-O-Khan, but then I remember how that could get ugly.
Especially when you consider that he's got a target on his back, albeit the smallest one, as the KOPW Provisional Champion. But even if Zack beats him, does he want that title? Fuck no.
Nah, he would not want it.
Either way, I'm going to go Zack.
Fair.
Which way are you going?
I'm choosing Great-O-Khan.
And for Lee SANADA?
Put SANADA.
Okay. Gabe Kidd against Evil. I mean, for the very least this summer, we may have little to no House of Torture interference because, let's face it, ever since the formation of that faction in 2020, New Japan to me has felt tainted.
I agree.
And let's be blunt. No one likes either of these wrestlers. True or false?
True.
But who's the lesser of two evils? The guy you've come to hate over a 5-year stretch because of how much of a cowardly asshat he is? Or do you want to, or the guy you've come to hate over the past year plus because of how much of an out of control lunatic bully he is that borderlines on being a British Homelander?
This is nuts.
Do I expect this to not be contained in the ring? Yes. Do we expect this to get violent? Yes.
Is there anything else you would expect?
No. But we're bringing the coin out as much as this match is going to suck. Heads, Kid, tails, Evil for me.
I'm choosing Kid. Sorry. I'm choosing Kid at least.
I will also go Kid. The coin landed on heads.
But of course.
In the B block, El Phantasmo against Henare. Phantasmo is now a man on an island. Hikuleo's contract ran out last month. He's probably on his way to the WWE to become the 5th member of the Bloodline 2.0. Oh, joining his brothers.
I would probably pick Phantasmo because that would provide a good excuse for him to be out of the tournament, and that way he would all be set for when he makes his debut.
Leo's already out of the company.
Oh, I mean, what you mean Henare?
Hanare's the never champ. Why would he be kicked out?
Oh, I see. My bad. It's just that it confuses me sometimes.
Oh. I say, given the mental state Phantasmo's in, I'm giving this to Henare.
I will probably give it to Henare as well.
Hirooki Goto against Jeff Cobb. We also have no Yoshihashi in this year's tournament, so Goto is the lone representative of Chaos.
That's
and
a
also
surprise.
Okada's not in this year's tournament. I forgot about him. Yoshihashi losing to Newman in the final of the A-Block qualifier. Also, there's going to be no Kenta, no Chase Owens, and no Taichi in this year's tournament.
Which means he's most likely, at a disadvantage.
Yep. I mean, would it be interesting to see Goto get a New Japan World TV title shot? Yes. But has he been consistent in getting wins in his first matches in the tournament over the last several years? No. I'm going to give this to Cobb.
I will probably do it as well. Give him also to Cobb.
Yota Tsuji versus Konosuke Takeshita. On the one hand, you want to give another outsider talent the win, but on the other hand, it's a little difficult when you've got someone who's wanted to prove himself and has had 2 cracks at the IWGP World Heavyweight title over the last two years. There's in Tsuji. But you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to Takeshita.
I'd be surprised you did. I'm going to have to go with Tsuji.
Fair enough. Yuya Uemura versus David Finlay.
This might be interesting.
I would agree. I mean, Finlay coming off of defense of the global title over SANADA recently. And Uemura, of course, back at Dominion, he dropped the KLPW title to Okan. And this is Uemura's first G1. Finlay is not going to make this one easy on the kid.
He isn't.
Will the Rebel snuff out the heat storm, or will Uemura blaze over the Rebel?
We'll only have to see for ourselves.
My pick will be Uemura.
I will also pick Uemura. Sorry, Finlay.
Finally, Bolin Oleg against Ren Narita. This is a no-brainer. Oleg is going to get stomped, especially if there's going to be House of Torture interference, which I'm hoping is severely limited this year. I mean, seriously, why didn't the board of directors threaten fines on the House of Torture, or at least month-long suspensions for constantly breaking the rules up until now?
Yeah.
And the fact that Olin is still considered a young lion, despite being a 2-time never openweight 6-man tag champ, basically screams damage sponge. I'll be damned if he gets at least one fucking win in this tournament. But against Narita, that's not going to be the case. Day 2 in Osaka, July 21st. This will only have 9 matches because of 2 words. Scheduling conflict. Takeshita is competing at DDT's Wrestle Peter Pan that day, so he can't catch a flight from Osaka to Ryogoku and back.
That's no surprise.
As such, his and Jeff Cobb's match got moved to July 23rd instead of Cobb getting a freebie 2 points.
Indeed.
Regardless, Shota Umino against Shingo Takagi. I'm going to go Shingo.
I'm also going Shingo.
Zack Sabre Jr. against Tetsuya Naito. There's been a strange bit of parity because every time these two are matched up, it's always going one way or the other. First time in G1 27, Naito beat Zack. Following year, Zack beat Naito. 2020, Naito beat Zack. 2021, Zack beat Naito and basically forced him out of the tournament with a torn MCL and meniscus.
That's gotta suck.
True. 2023, 2. Zack lost to Naito in just over a minute.
That quickly?
Yeah. 2023. I think Naito won again over Zack and got the tiebreaker to be the top seed in the D block.
Wow.
If there's any one man who could be a legitimate threat to Naito in this tournament, it's Zack. So I'm going to give it to him.
Fair enough. I'll also give it to Zack.
SANADA versus Callum Newman. I'm going to give this to SANADA.
SANADA winner Raymond. I'm going with SANADA.
Great-O-Khan against Gabe Kidd. I am going to go with the Great-O-Khan. All hail.
Me too.
Jake Lee versus Evil. I feel sorry for Jake because next Saturday at Destination, GLG is disbanding. If they kept the group together, he would, and New Japan wasn't doing anything to stop House of Torture. At the very least, bringing in LJ Clearly, Anthony Green, Jack Morris, Tadasuke, and Yohei would it provide some level of backup?
Yeah.
But that will not be the case here. I'm giving this one to Evil, as much as I hate this son of a bitch.
As do I. I despise Evil.
You're going Lee?
Yeah, I'm going Evil.
Oh. El Phantasmo against Ren Narita. Again, this is the situation where backup would have been preferable. Chano is not going to be able to hold off everyone in House of Torture if it comes to that. I'm giving this to Narita.
I'll give it to El Phantasmo.
Fair enough. Hirooki Goto against Yuya Uemura.
I'm going Goto.
I'll take Goto as well. Finlay against Tsuji. I'm going to give this to Tsuji. Mostly to give him that win.
I feel
Back
that.
in Taku.
For all things considered. Jeez. I'm also giving it to Tsuji. Sorry, Finlay, but you're not going to be catching a break here.
Henare against Oleg. I'm going to give it to Henare.
That works.
I'll let you handle this one. Day 3, Hiroshima.
Hiroshima. We have Shota Umino versus Gabe Kidd.
It seems like Umino cannot catch a break with either branch of Bullet Club.
Nope. I'm giving it to Kidd. Sorry, Umino.
I'm going Shooter.
Fair. Now, the next one. Tetsuya Naito versus Jake Lee.
You
I'm
know what?
I'm giving it to Naito. What were you going to say?
You know what? Given the rivalry they've had since for a time over the spring, Lee was basically given the Bullet Club on a loan. Fuck it, I'm giving this to the Emperor, Jake Lee.
That would be a wise choice. Next up is Shingo Takagi versus Great-O-Khan.
Hoss fight.
Oh, yes, indeed. That would be most agreeable. And for this, I would choose Shingo Takagi.
Same here. SANADA versus Evil. SANADA needs to rectify that loss in last year's tournament.
I agree.
Zack Sabre Jr. against Callum Newman. Yeah, give this to Zack.
Yeah, I'm also giving it to Zack. We throw a bone at him.
And now the match that was moved to this day due to the scheduling conflict, Jeff Cobb versus Konosuke Takeshita.
Yep. This will be a tough one, so I'll just probably pick Jeff Cobb.
You know what? I'm actually going to consider giving Takeshita a TV title shot. I'll give this to him.
I agree. That would be interesting.
Sunmase Kagawa in Kagawa on July 25th. Only the B block.
Yep.
ELP against Yota Tsuji. I think this is where ELP finally gets his head out of his ass and wins this.
I agree.
Hirooki Goto against Bolton Oleg. I'm actually going to go Oleg for this one.
That's a surprise.
You're taking Goto?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why do you ask?
Just wondering. Uemura against Takeshita.
That's gonna be an interesting one. So what? I'd be picking Hirooki Goto. What about you?
I said I was going Oleg with that match. This one's Uemura Takeshita we're looking at.
Oh yeah, Uemura and Takeshita. I'll pick Uemura.
I'm going to say Takeshita.
Well, you made the right decision on that one.
Jeff Cobb versus Ren Narita. Jeff, get your buddies there in the A block in there as backup.
Yep.
Can't rely on Henare since he's got prep for his match against Finlay. So you have to rely on Okan, Newman, and if they show up, TJ and Akira.
I'm
going to say Cobb. Narita, you're going on a tour of the islands, bitch. Henare against David Finlay. For Henare, this is a chance to get payback for that wound that split him open in February that almost killed him in the dog pound cage match. I'm not making it up. I saw that wound. That thing was fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
However, the way they're trying to build the global title is higher in the pecking order than the Never title. I'm going to give this to Finlay.
I agree.
Nagasaki. Dejima Mese Nagasaki Venue.
How many more are there?
Let's see, we're on day 4.
Day 4 of how many days, actually?
19.
19 days. And we got to go through all of these? Jesus.
Shota Umino against Great Okan. Shooter.
Yeah, the shooter.
Naito against Evil. I'm going to say Naito. For the love of God, it better be Naito.
I know.
Shingo Takagi versus Callum Newman. Shingo.
Good decision.
SANADA against Kid. I'm going to say SANADA. Zack Sabre Jr. against Jake Lee. This one's a bit of a toughie considering that Zack did spend about 7 or 8 years of his career in Noah.
Yeah. This is going to be a tough one. I would pick SANADA.
We're looking at Zack versus Lee.
Oh yeah, I'll pick Zack. Let's throw a bone.
I'm going to give it to Jake Lee.
Fair enough.
Look, wrong button.
Day 5.
Actually, this is day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going on.
Day 6 of 19. Jeez.
July 28th, Fukuoka Convention Center.
And there's only 5 matches. If this is how it is, it won't take long.
ELP against Oleg.
I'll take Oleg.
ELP. Goto against Tsuji. For Goto, this is a chance to avenge his New Japan Cup final loss.
Then I give it to Goto.
I'm going to give it to Tsuji. Uemura against Cobb. For Uemura, this is a chance to get that New Japan World Television title shot. I'm going to give it to him. Takeshita against Henare. I'm going to say Henare.
Good choice. You're
probably going to Takeshita, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. Finlay against Narita. If it's going to be anything like Finlay against Evil last year, oh, brother. I'm giving this to Finlay.
It's just one of these days, I swear.
One of those matches, you know it's going to be a shit heap.
Make that a shit show.
Back to Fukuoka for the A block. Shota Umino against CSJ. They each have a win over each other that they got back in 2023. Umino beat Zack in the New Japan Cup. Zack retained the TV title. Rubber match, I'm going to go Zack.
Well, that's a pretty good choice.
Naito against SANADA. If this helps catapult SANADA back to the front of the line, I'm going to, for at least one rematch, I'm going to give it to him.
Yeah, I believe SANADA deserved it.
Shingo against Gabe Kidd. Oh, this is a Haas fight and a half.
Damn.
Especially how they basically took each other to a limit where they nearly knocked each other out over the Never title. But when Shingo was champion over the spring. I'm going to give this to Shingo.
Good decision.
You going that way too?
Yes.
Great Okan against Jake Lee. I'm actually going to go Okan. Because, be honest, does Jake really want this title? No, he doesn't.
Wow.
And Evil against Callum Newman. Raise your hand if you know that Callum Newman's cannon fodder in this one.
Yeah.
Evil. Kidi Ishin Hall, Yamaguchi, July 31st. You want to take this one?
Why not? Got something to do. So in the B block, El Phantasmo versus Jeff Cobb. My vote's on El Phantasmo.
I'm taking Cobb.
Next is Hirooki Goto versus Ren Narita.
Common linchpin. One is the best friend of Katsuyori Shibata. The other was the former pupil.
Yeah.
And Goto would be ashamed of what Narita's turned himself into.
Yes, he would.
But expect a lot of House of Torture BS, and making it worse for Goto, Yoshihashi is not in the tournament, so he'll be nowhere to be seen for most of the tour. I'm giving this to Narita.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm also giving it to Narita.
Yota Tsuji against Bolton Oleg.
I picked Tsuji.
Agreed. Oleg's not ready for this.
He isn't. Uemura versus Henare.
I'm going to take Yuya. Where are you taking it?
I am taking Henare.
Okay.
Last is Takeshita versus Finlay.
I mean, New Japan's already had bad enough this year with last 2 years with both its U.S. and World Heavyweight titles being held hostage by AEW. Before the former was essentially retired when Finlay destroyed it at Power Struggle last November.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Finlay.
That's fair. Let Finlay get a win.
Osaka Yamato Arena. August 3rd. Umino versus SANADA.
I choose Umino.
Same here. Tetsuya Naito against Gabe Kidd. I'm going to go Naito.
That's nice. I also go for Naito.
Shingo Takagi against Zack Sabre Jr. These two have pretty good chemistry with one another. Break the coin out. Shingo, Zack. Tails, I'm going Zack.
I'm going Takagi.
Fair enough. Okan versus Evil. I mean, For as much as I know deep down, Evil does not want the KOPW title, given that the House of Torture is basically a bad joke branch of Bullet Club, he'd be more than happy to take any gold at any cost, even if it means stealing it and then spray painting it black like he did with the IWGP World Heavyweight title. I'm going Evil.
I'm going for Great Khan.
Fair enough. Jake Lee against Callum Newman.
Guess I'm going Jake Lee.
Same here. IC Perfectual Gym on August 4th, the Dolphins Arena.
That's a lot of matches.
But it's only the A block here. Shota Umino. Oh wait, whoops, wrong button. I hit the wrong button. Let me see if they fix the match card.
Oh, of course.
No, they haven't. For some reason, they gave me the August 3rd card again. I'm looking for a different site for the G1 card.
Yeah.
Sorry about this, folks. This is one of the reasons I hate the fact New Japan's website sold itself to Medium.
Mm-hmm. When you have like 19 days full of matches in the G1 Climax, that's nuts.
Damn right it is. Come on, let me see. Okay, events. Let's see. What is the August 4th card? Here it is, day 9. Oh, come the fuck on! Here we go. Oh, wait. Here it is. Here we go. Night 9. Night 10. Jeff Cobb versus Henare.
I don't see the link for some reason. It's not showing.
Oh, let me switch it. Let me switch the screen.
I always knew these issues had to happen. But that's the thing about it. You never know.
That's true. Okay, here we go. Night 10 in Nagoya. In Aichi, Nagoya. Jeff Cobb versus Henare.
I'm voting for Henare.
Yeah, it would be nice to give him the win, especially since he supposedly has the higher in the Elder Statesman title and the Never title, so I'll go him. El Phantasmo against Yuya Uemura. I'm going to go ELP.
Good choice.
You going ELP?
Yeah.
Hirooki Goto versus Konosuke Takeshita. I'm going to go Takeshita.
I'll also go Takeshita.
Ren Narita against Yota Tsuji.
I go Tsuji.
I'll also go Tsuji. I mean, they need to rectify the draw they had in last year's tournament.
Yeah.
David Finlay against Bolton Oleg.
I'll let Finlay get a bone.
I think we've given him enough bones as it is. I'm taking Finlay. I'm taking Oleg in an upset.
Okay, then fine. You can take Oleg. I take Finlay.
Corkin Hall, August 6th, 9/11. Gabe Kidd against Jake Lee.
I will pick Gabe Kidd.
I'm going to go Jake Lee.
Well, that's a pretty interesting choice.
True. Shota Umino versus Tetsuya Naito.
I choose Naito.
Fair enough. Takagi versus SANADA.
I choose Takagi.
I'm going SANADA. Okan against Newman. Master versus Apprentice.
That would be an interesting choice.
Corkin Hall is a place for upsets, so you know what? Fuck it. I'm giving it to Newman.
Fair enough. I'll give it to Newman as well.
And finally, ZSJ versus Evil. If there's any one wrestler that can outfox Evil, it's Zack. Now, granted, he can't use Kosei Fuji as a decoy like he did in 2022, nor can he use Roy Oiwa because he's a Noah. And Shoma Kato and Katsuya Kishimura, or whatever Matsuyura, or whatever his name is, the other two young lions, they're too skinny to be Zack, and Evil would sniff the trick out pretty quickly.
You make a good point with that.
Granted, Fuji did do one of the funniest promos of the year in the 2022 TV title tournament where he basically posed as Zack. Zack told him what to say, like, "Hello, I'm Zack Sabre Jr. I'm from England. I like marmalade. Evil, you're," and I quote, "a pumpkin-headed wanker. Happy Halloween, dickhead."
That'd be interesting.
Actually, it already happened. I mean,
wow.
You gotta laugh at me. It was during the...
Just wow.
Happened in November of 22 during the TV title tournament. Zack and Evil were paired up in the semis. And Zack actually had Fuji to say that. That got Evil and Togo so pissed that they mugged Fuji so he wouldn't pull the trick off again. But Zack had another ace in the hole and Oiwa to play decoy.
That was a worth.
And Zack beat him in about less than 5 minutes.
That was humorous.
I mean, the match is on YouTube if you ever want to watch it.
I'll watch that sometime and see the results. It would give me a laugh.
True. I'm giving this to Zack because this is the one guy Evil has seldom figured out how to beat.
Yes, indeed.
Night 12 in Korakuen. Yuya Uemura versus Ren Narita.
I choose Narita.
We'll go Uemura. El Phantasmo versus Takeshita.
Phantasmo.
Fair enough. Hirooki Goto against David Finlay. I'm going to go Goto.
I'm also going Goto. Sorry, Finlay.
Tsuji versus Henare. I'm going to go Tsuji.
I also will go Tsuji.
Jeff Cobb versus Bolton Oleg. This is power against power, another Haas fight. But when you consider experience having to come into play, I'm going to give this to Cobb.
I will also give it to Cobb.
August 13th, Yokohama. Zack Sabre Jr. against Gabe Kidd. Oh boy, this is going to be one heck of a Haas fight. Or
yes,
at least it's a matchup that pits technical mental techers against brute force. I'm going to give this to Zack.
That'd be an interesting choice.
Shota Umino against Jake Lee. I'm going to go Shooter.
Good choice.
Tetsuya Naito versus Callum Newman. Naito. Shingo Takagi against Evil.
Takagi. Sorry,
yeah,
but you're not deserving of this win.
Coupled with the fact that Takagi needs revenge for what happened in last year's C Block final. And SANADA against the Great Okan. Who you got?
SANADA. I would rather pick SANADA.
Okay, I'll go SANADA as well. Sendai, August 10th. Yota Tsuji against Yuya Uemura.
I'll choose Tsuji.
I'll go Uemura. Hirooki Goto versus ELP. I'm going to go Goto.
Good decision. I'll also choose Goto.
Jeff Cobb against David Finlay. I'm going to say Finlay.
I'm going to say Finlay as well. He needs a win.
Henare versus Narita.
I choose Narita.
I'll go Henare. And Takeshita versus Oleg. I'm taking Takeshita.
As will I. Night 15. Naito versus... Yeah, we're at night 15. In Nagaoka. Naito versus the Great Okan.
I'm going to say Naito.
I will also say Naito. Umino versus Evil.
Actually, I could see Okan playing spoiler at this point because of the way the final mean, who moves on to the next rounds are determined this year. I could see Okan playing Spar, so I'll go him.
And that's a good choice.
Umino against Evil. I'm taking Shooter.
I'm also taking Shooter. The Evil does not deserve the win.
Shingo
Takagi
Takagi.
versus Jake Lee. I choose Takagi.
I'm going to go Lee. SANADA against Zack. I'm going to take Zack.
I'll also take Zack.
And finally, Gabe Kid against Callum Newman. I'm going to go Kid. If we did
The
the
Kid
math,
will shine once more.
if the math was done correctly, that would mean our top three in the A block are Shota Umino, Jake Lee, and Zack Sabre Jr.
Which means now we need to reach 6 night 16 where it's all B block. The B block finals.
Location, Shizuoka, Hamamatsu. Yota Tsuji against Jeff Cobb.
Tsuji.
Okay. I'll go Cobb. Phantasmo against Finlay. I'm going to say Phantasmo to play spoiler.
I choose Phantasmo as well.
Hirooki Goto against Henare. I'm going to go... Hell, then I'm going to go Goto.
I'm also going to go Goto, no doubt.
Yuya Uemura against Oleg Uemura.
Uemura.
And finally, Takeshita against Narita. I'm going to say Narita.
Narita. I will also say Narita.
If the math was done correctly here, it will be Tsuji. It'll be Finlay, Tsuji. It'll be Tsuji, Goto, and Narita?
Yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it.
So, in Chiba, each block will have its second and third place finishers face off. We'll rematch in the first round, while the winners are moved on to the semis.
So who are the second and third place?
Based on the math, A2 versus A3, I think we said it'll be Lee and Zack.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, or maybe it was Shooter and Lee. I'm going to say Shooter.
I will also say the Shooter.
We're in B block. It's Goto and Narita. Based on our projections, I'm going to say Narita.
That's pretty fair. I also choose Narita.
Then it'll be in the A block, Shooter against Zack. And in the B block, Narita against Tsuji. And I'm going to say Tsuji. In the B block semifinal. And A, I'm going to go Shooter.
That's good choices.
And then we get the final between two of the Reiwa era Musketeers, even though they don't like to be called that.
They really don't.
I'm going to say Shooter. Tsuji's already had his chance at glory.
I think it's time for the Shooter to shine.
And possibly get that Wrestle Kingdom opportunity.
Yes, indeed.
Those are on nights 17, 18, and 19, both on August 17th and 18th in Ryogokugokugen.
Yeah.
This will be one of the most random and most screwed up G1s we're going to be looking at. We've prognosticated for, folks. And trust me, we're in for a wild ride with no Okada, no Ospreay, no Taichi, no Kenta, no Chase, no Tanahashi, no Yano, and no Ishii in this year's tournament. And no Yoshihashi.
Agreed.
This year's G1 truly is the dawn of a new era in NJPW. The men who made up the majority of the pillars that were prevalent over the last decade or so are now too old to compete in this tournament, out of the company, or a mix of both.
Yeah.
In any case, that's it for tonight's show. Tune in next week when we're back in it for Pro Wrestling Noah's Destination. Same MegaMets time, same MegaMets channel. Comment, like, and subscribe to our channels. We're signing out. Goodbye. Good fucking night. Bang.
that went well.
Yep. Big
All right.
content.
I'll see you around.
See you next Saturday.
Right.